everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of TeachTechPlay. I'm the host and founder of TeachTechPlay, Eleni Kuritzes, and I'm excited to have you join us today on the show. Today we have a fantastic lineup of presenters from all over the globe, and we actually have our first giveaway today on the show. So there'll be a little bit more information about that later. But before we get into introducing all our wonderful presenters, I just would like to congratulate our episode 43 winner, Lorinda Ferry, who shared how to be internet awesome. So well done to her, and thank you for everyone who tuned in, and hopefully you all got something out of the show. Now, today we have got 5 wonderful presenters, and I'm going to throw over to them so they can tell you a little bit about themselves. So, Jon, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from? Just remember to unmute yourself. Perfect.
Of course. Thanks very much, Eleni. Thank you for having me again. My name's Jon Neale. I am a digital learning leader at Halcyon School in central London. I'm also one of TeachTechPlay's biggest fans, as Eleni very well knows, and I'm a Google certified innovator, trainer, and Apple Distinguished Educator. So yeah, really pleased to be here, Eleni. Thank you.
Thanks, Jon. And yes, you definitely take out the winner's crown for #1 fan. And it was a joy to meet you at BET earlier in the year. So great to have you on the show again. Roxanne, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Hi, my name's Rosanne Blundell. Actually,
not Roxanne, Rosanne.
It's normal. I actually taught for about 10 years, predominantly in the area of science, both nationally and internationally, nationally being Australia. I now work for the University of Queensland and teach into a couple of courses there, and also create some educational resources for partnership projects. Earlier this year, I actually moved to Germany, and whilst I'm here, I still work for UQ. It has freed up a little bit of time for me to delve into the area of augmented reality and education, and I'm very excited to share with you today where that has taken me.
Perfect, thank you. And yes, when I heard you were joining us on the show, I didn't know that you were an Aussie, so it's great to have another Aussie on the show here today, and good to know your science background, and hopefully a few of our viewers here in Australia may have met you out here as well. Next we've got Guto, and I met you at BET as well earlier in the year, so it's great to finally get you on the show as well.
Hi Eleni, it's good to see you again as well. I'm Guto Aaron. I'm a primary school teacher in South Wales. I'm also director at TUT 360, which is, we make educational resources for schools. And since this month, I'm now the UK events manager for Apps Events as well. So running Google training across the UK and Europe.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you're sharing. Next, we have Orlee.
Hi there. Thanks for having me, Eleni.
No problem at all.
So I'm Orlee, and I'm the Director of Technology at the American International School in Israel. I've been there for 8 years, and I've also had a tech coaching / integrator position. So working very closely with the teachers and the students. We are K through 12 one-to-one, so always looking for meaningful and innovative ways to integrate tech in the school.
Perfect. Thank you. Really excited to have you on the show as well. And last but not least, we have also got Ben here. So Ben, I'm not going to say where you're from because I know you'll do it better than I can. So let us all know where you're from.
Cool. Thanks, Eleni. Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Ben Kidd. I am co-founder of Curescape. Last time I was regularly in a school was as a pupil. I've never been an educator. I've kind of brought myself into this exciting world through kind of the idea of wanting to produce things that would inspire others. And so when we left school, we wanted to kind of produce the sort of things we never had. Our background was actually in marketing and advertising. And while we were very good at persuading people to buy dish soap and engine oil, we decided to turn our powers of visual persuasion to help inspire people to get interested in science.
Perfect. And I know that you'll be talking later about our exciting exciting giveaway as well. So we'll talk more about that later in the show. Now, before we get started with our presenters, I just want to remind everyone to ensure that you go and vote for your favorite presenter. And hopefully you can all see my screen. Oops, hang on. I just shared the wrong thing. This one. So hopefully you can all see my screen now, and you can all vote for your favorite presenter. So make sure you head to our website, and when you go there, you'll also see previous episodes, and there is over 370 hours of free PD for teachers. So definitely share it with other teachers at your school. I'm sure they will have something there that is suitable for everyone. So always great to go there and catch up on past episodes. I know John absolutely loves going back and watching them because you always get a lot of wonderful information. So without further ado, John, you are kicking us off first, and you'll be sharing with us CoSpaces. So let me know when you're ready, and I will start the timer.
Yeah, can I just say before I start that that's 370 hours very well spent, if anyone's considering having a bit of a binge watch. But yeah, I am ready to go, Elaine. I'll just share my screen. If Perfect. You let me know when I'm successfully sharing, and I'll crack on.
Perfect, you can go.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, today I'm just going to be sharing an app which has quickly become one of my favorite apps to share at school. It's called CoSpaces EDU now. And so I'm just going to start with a quote from one of the students that has had a go with it with me in their lessons. So I can easily make anything that I want to in a 360 world. I can then look at my creations in AR or VR or both. And I think that the idea of students being creative is just so important. So it isn't just there are lots out there, AR or VR apps that are wonderful for consumption, but I think the fact that it gives them the power of creation as well is a really key strength of CoSpaces. It's got some great features just to run through. Works on any device. It can work from your laptop, work from any mobile device. Very simple drag and drop just to bring the 3D content in. To be able to move the things around and have them interact, there's a really good incentive for students to develop their coding skills. You can start off with block and then develop some text coding. As I've said, it's got AR or VR, augmented reality or virtual reality. And then similar to like a Google Classroom, you as a teacher can actually see how a student's space is developing over time. And one of the things which has really been lovely for my students in the last couple of weeks is that they can collaborate in the same space. And there are also some teacher resources. So here you'll see, this is how it looks in the web browser. And this is very kind of typical of how any space would start off. You drag your environment in, and then you have a huge library of 3D objects that you can drag onto the screen, and you can resize them, you can move them around, and you can decide different things they want to do. So yeah, so that is how it appears on a laptop. In a mobile device, this is actually from an iPad, very, 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 very much the same. But you can also, and it's important to note, if you're on the Pro version, I'll talk about the plans later, but if you're on the Pro version, you can actually not only search from the really huge library that is available from within CoSpaces, but you can also search 3D objects that people have created in other areas, for example, Google Poly. So here I have a student bringing some food in which case it's for a cow and a tiger, so I thought it'd be perfect to have some French fries and an apple. And then, yes, this is just something else with the idea of going back to that whole code sort of or students' creativity and that sort of driving their ambition to learn some coding. So they actually need to learn code to be able to make things happen in different ways. So you can see here, if you want to change the way that things interact, you can. So here I've just got this CoSpaces' own block coding language, which is called CoBlockly, and it's just set up in this case that when I click on the cow, it's going to move forward 10 meters. But you can also add these inbuilt animations. For example, this one here is just for a lion to be roaring. Thank you, Eleni. And on the left-hand side here, this is someone sampling their own space using Google Cardboard. So they're just totally immersed in the world and walking around. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the augmented reality space, We're actually using it with a merge cube, but it works really well if you've got like, if you're in a well-lit room and there's like some really clear flooring. And then just finally, just to start off with, they have some really lovely onboarding packages and lesson plans. You can also get a gallery of inspiration, so from a variety of curricular areas. So for example, here you can see STEM and coding and social sciences. And as I said, you've got kind of lots of license plan information. There is a basic package which is free and really allows a really good idea of what's to come. But you can also get the pro package as well, which is actually $3.50 per student, so pretty reasonable. And that's it.
Perfect timing.
Thank you, Eleni.
Perfect. Now, I think you covered all my questions that I had. So the cost, I did see there on that plan that it was a minimum of 30 students that I
That's
saw.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was $3.50 per student per year, correct?
Yeah. But they will, but the actual basic package is still really good, just for, not only for students, but for colleagues to explore the potential. And I think that one of the great questions that colleagues will often have is, well, how does it relate to my subject? But the fact that it has that like gallery of resources and lesson plans is kind of that it really helps to sort of stimulate some kind of good ideas of how they might be able to use things in their own lessons. And I think as well that my experience is that if you reach out to them, you know, and like say that you're thinking about doing it, then you can maybe get the pro license for a trial period as well. But we found the pro package very much worth its cost.
What age groups, like year levels, are you using it with?
So we're a school 11 through 18, but we're an international baccalaureate school, and we haven't used it in the diploma program, but it has reached students grades 6 through 10, so that's up to like 15, 16. But most typically it has been used with the kind of, I would say, the sort of the sort of middle school years. Yeah.
Would you recommend it for junior years, since it's got that block coding for?
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, it has a very friendly iPad, like its mobile version on Android or on iOS works very, very well.
Perfect. Did anyone else have any questions? Yep, Ben.
Hey, John. I was just interested, so that the creative aspect, the ability for the students or the teacher to kind of place objects and craft a space. Yeah. How much of that is kind of the lesson value versus the consumption of what you've created?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, and I think it's really important that when you have these new potential piece of technology and digital tools that you can use in the classroom, is that the focus should still be on the learning. But I think that there is a value in terms of that actual the creative process. But you can set up templates in advance, and you can borrow templates, and then you can use them as like a starting point. So if you didn't want students to be creating entirely from scratch, then you can do what's called like a remix, and then you can take from someone else's. It's very, very similar to like the way that Google Docs and things work, is you can take something which already exists and you can tweak that, so that would give a lot more time to something else if you'd rather.
Do you feel, John, that you might need kids to have a little play on their own? Because I know whenever I introduce something new to younger kids, I always sort of do it. We have like a 20-minute block before assemblies. So I just say, right, I've got a new app that I would like you to explore. Would you recommend doing something like that before teachers try to implement a new tool?
Yeah, I think Eleni, that's a case of I think that whenever you bring these new things out, that it is important to have that moment of sort of fun as well. And I actually, so in my teacher, so in the class, which I didn't quite have time to share, the first assignment that I shared with them was just called Have a Go. So they just had a blank space and they would just play. And one of the lovely things about it is as I say, so similar to like a Google Classroom, is when you create your assignment within a class, then you as the teacher can then go and see how all the students' work is developing.
Perfect. Does it integrate with Google Classroom and other platforms, or does it work on its own?
So you can get your name lists out and things. And it's just, but as an app, it runs by itself.
Okay. Perfect. Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you, Jon, for sharing. And if anyone else even watching this episode has any questions, we can connect you with Jon on Twitter, or if you need his email, I'm sure he would be more than happy for me to pass that on and you can get in contact with him. Next up, we have Rosanne. And Rosanne, you'll be sharing moon phases AR. So I think we're having a bit of an AR sort of spectacle this episode. So let me know when you're ready and I will start the timer.
Okay, well, I'll just start talking about moon phases a little bit. It is a notoriously difficult topic to facilitate. So there's a lot going on conceptually, and there are many, many different perspectives that a student needs to sort of wrap their head around. So we, as teachers, I have some little props here, we bring in Oreos, we start to shine lights on students' heads like so. Okay, so every model that we use has limitations. The beauty of AR, however, is that it allows, sorry, the ball's just rolling away. The beauty of AR is that it actually allows us to drop in a scene into our classroom and to experience it as well. So we're not using a technology that was not, sorry, my apologies. It's a new technology and it was not previously possible in the classroom. So it's a new model that we can actually use. I would like to share with you today moon phases AR, and I'll just try and share a screen with you.
I'll let you know when we can see it.
Yeah, okay.
And I've paused the timer, so don't stress.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yep. Did you want to go presentation? Yep, perfect.
Okay, and can you see you along the bottom or not?
The URL along the bottom.
No, we can see you along the bottom.
No, we're moved from along the bottom. Don't worry,
Okay.
all good. Go for it.
So in moon phases AR, there are actually two options that you can see there. Indoor view displaying moon phases and an outdoor view for students to address concepts of distance and scale. So I had to pre-record this because you didn't really want a tour of my apartment while we're watching this. So let's open up the indoor scale view. You can see here as we move around the scene that there is a far side of the moon that's pointed out and the Earth's tilt is shown, and blue transparent guides actually direct students to where each moon phase occurs. And these guides you can see there can be turned on and off, and the orbit speed also can be increased or decreased or paused. There are 8 discovery questions directly addressing common misconceptions, just off to the side there as well, for students to discover an answer. And when all 8 are completed and correct, the red tab that you see will actually turn green. So the moon, as you can see there, is now approaching a waxing crescent, and we're looking from the perspective of Earth. And there's a button in the bottom right-hand corner there, the camera button, that allows students to photograph and to document their observations. Okay, we'll just switch now to the outdoor scale view. Here you can see, in a second, there we go, that the Earth is really tiny. It's actually just 1 centimetre in diameter, and the moon, it's 30 centimetres away, and it's just 3 millimetres in diameter. So we're addressing issues of size and scale here. And there's the sun. It's 1 metre or just over 1 metre in diameter, and it's 100 metres away. So you can actually take your students out onto the oval to have a look at this scene. We're not going to walk the 100 metres right now though. All right. We've prepared some teacher resources as well. They're free on our website, and they're to do with predominantly the indoor scale view. 1 minute. I'll just briefly go through a couple of possible sequences for these resources. We can kick off the inquiry with the KWL chart, what we know and what we wonder about moon phases, or perhaps gauge student prior knowledge and misconceptions by having the class contribute to the true or false answers around the room. And as the students discover the answers to each of these questions using the app, they are encouraged to draw a diagram of their observations to justify their choice. There's a Phases of the Moon worksheet for students to transform their knowledge and understanding. And of course, everything comes with teacher answers. For younger students, the app is suitable for learning concepts of day and night as well. Our app is localized to 3 languages, and you can find our resources on arbyteachers.com.
Perfect. And 14 seconds to go. So
Yes.
well done. And thank you for sharing that. It's wonderful to see AR being used in such a versatile way, especially in science. I think that, I've taught, it's here in Australia, it's in our year 3 curriculum, learning about the moon phases, and kids just don't understand it. And it's really hard for them to grasp it. And no matter how many models you make, they just don't understand how that happens. And I think having them move around it really gets them immersed. And I couldn't work out what the outside view would be. And then when you showed us how you can walk and how far away compared to the size of the Earth, I think that's really important for kids to understand actually how big our universe is. And really amazing. I wish I had seen this last term, because that's what I just taught the year 3
last term. It's only been out for a couple of weeks now.
Oh,
so it's just
perfect. So I can go back and I could even share it with them now and put it in the planners for next year. No, it was absolutely wonderful, amazing to see. And did you create the app, or have you been working with a team to do that?
Yeah, we are a small team of teachers, administrators, and also thank you to Bavarian International School as well. They share their students to give us some feedback and their location. So yeah, just a small team of teachers. We're predominantly science-based, so we put together our feedback, and we have a good idea of what would be useful in the classroom and within what time frame as well.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely perfect. Thank you for that. Were there any questions or anything from any of our other presenters? Yep, Ben?
I can always ask questions. Hi, Rosanne. Obviously, I've been developing apps as well, and it's an interesting experience in itself. It's obviously very different than teaching. So I was just interested to get your kind of top level thoughts on what it was like to develop an app from scratch, and maybe what tips and advice you would have for other educators who are considering doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think as ARKit, because this is available for iOS 12 Apple devices, I think as ARKit develops and we see how it can actually be used, we can start to create those, the way that it can be used and the strategies that we can use in the classroom. So at the moment, AR, it seems to be, in a lot of cases, certainly not in Virtuali-Tee, but in a lot of cases, you just see an object dropped into a classroom, and the strategy around that is probably not really student-focused, and it's not inquiry-based. So yeah, as teachers, we have the opportunity to actually combine pedagogy with what we're creating in AR. It was a difficult process, however, and there was a lot more involved than I thought there would be. But despite it taking twice as long as I was hoping, we now have a product, and I'm really proud to show it.
Perfect. I've got another quick question. Is there a cost to the app?
Yeah, it's at the moment it's $2 or $1.99. And yeah, it will stay under $5 anyway. Of course, with school school purchases, for bulk purchases, it's half price.
Perfect. Thank you for that. John, you might want to unmute yourself though, so then we can hear you.
Sorry, I lost my mouse. First of all, I think that the work your team have done, Rosanne, is really, really impressive, and massively to be commended. So congratulations on what looks like a. Have you got any plans to develop any sort of more apps? And
yeah, we do.
Are they going to be within science, or are you going to look to explore outside science as well?
Definitely a broader approach. So the next project is actually called Galleries of Inquiry. It's looking at the engage and explore phase of a lesson. So rather than a gallery walk, we're taking the approach of a gallery in AR and getting the students to inquire around that. The format is such that we can look initially at science and maths concepts, but we will, develop from there.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Oh, yep.
Not so much a question. I just thought I'd say, Rosanne, that my daughter's doing space in school this term, so I'm going to be downloading that as soon as I'm off.
Thank you. I will certainly share it with you.
Perfect. Thank you. That is an amazing app. And I know I'll be going tomorrow back to school and sharing that with my teachers. And on Friday, I'm actually doing an incursion at a school where we're looking at space. So I will ensure to download it and share it with them as well.
Thank you.
No problem. And obviously, if anyone has any questions, I can always put you in contact with Rosanne as well. Next up, we have got Guto, and you will be sharing video feedback with Screencastify with Google Docs and slides as well. So let me know when you are ready and we will start the timer.
Okay, just sharing the screen now. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, we're good to go. I'm going to talk about feedback and marking. So I'm a primary school teacher, which means working with children mostly between 7 and 11 years old, and marking the bane of many teachers' life. And two problems that we've noticed with it is, one, the amount of time it takes for teachers. But on the other hand is the fact that very often you write in books or you put comments on docs and the pupils don't engage with it. Either because, especially the younger pupils, they're not actually able to read half the things you write. You see teachers marking sometimes for the senior leaders, it seems, not for the pupils themselves. So I'm going to use video feedback. I've got a Google Classroom ready here, and if I pop to the classwork page of it, I can find the task and go inside the assignments to see the work my pupils have done. I've got one very clever pupil here, happens to have the exact same name as me, so it's going to pop in to that piece of work, and you'll see a story written about a brave hero, I think a lion, this one, once it loads. While it's loading, I'm going to be using a Screencastify, which is a screen recording extension to Chrome. There's a few others that do the same job. To get the extension on there, all I did was to do a Google search for Screencastify Chrome, click on that to load the page, and then there'd be an Add to Chrome button. I'm using the free version today. My own class, I've actually paid $24 a year, which is not that much at all, which then gives me unlimited video, and it takes away the big Screencastify watermark on the side. Now the story has loaded. If I was using the comment function, I saw, Lenny, that you were showing off the new Google Classroom last month, I think it was, and using the comments bank on there, which is great for some of our year 6s. But again, with year 3s, some of them are still struggling to read and would struggle with a lot of comments on the side. So I'm going to click on the Screencastify extension on the top there. And once that pops down, it will give me a chance to record. My computer seems to be taking a bit of time this morning. Here it comes. You get an option to switch off the microphone, which is quite pointless. You could embed your face in the corner, but my pupils see my face often enough, so I keep that switched off. And then click record. It's going to give me a 3 to 1 countdown. And once the countdown is done, I can start recording and talking on there. So even though my computer's being a bit slow this morning, we'll go straight into it. I could be looking at the work here. Here we go, 3 to 1. This is a great piece of work you've done here, Guto. I can spot there's a few places, for example, on here where you might want to look at your punctuation. And there's also, you've written catched down here. Pretty sure that's not the word you're looking for. Maybe grab a dictionary and have a look. More importantly, while the first paragraph is lovely and full of descriptions, you do seem to have rushed the ending here. And please take a look, and we've spread this out to show a bit more emotion in there. Once that's done, I'm going to pause my recording and stop it to finalize. And what it does is it saves that recording straight into my Google Drive.
1 minute.
So open up a little page, go straight into my drive, so I don't have to upload it. I don't have to care about the sharing settings. That's already sorted on there. And all I need from here is the copy link button that you see on the side there. So I'm going to copy that link, go back to the work, and so the students can see the video feedback I've done, I can simply paste that at the end, or even put it in a comment on the side and ready for them to watch. And they can watch it back more than once if they want, get all the feedback, and then do the changes on the document. And I am done.
Fantastic. Well done. Now, I was interested to know how you would do this, and now seeing it it's such an easy way for teachers to provide feedback. Like, it's not difficult, and those recordings are there as well and saved. I don't know why I hadn't thought of it before. So
for the teacher, the win is it's faster to do that than it is to type in all your comments on the side, and it's definitely faster than writing it by hand. So the teacher wins time-wise, and the child wins because they can watch it and read the feedback.
And I think it's really good for kids as well, because they do like hearing your voice as feedback rather than text. And a lot of the time they don't read it, especially the younger kids. So no, that is perfect. And I might have to steal that for my next presentation. I'll give you credit, of course.
Of course.
But no, absolutely love that. That is fantastic. Does anyone else have any comments? I think I'm just blown away because, you know, that's something that teachers, especially teaching younger kids, you know, they say, oh, Google Classroom's great, but how do I provide feedback because I can't read or write, and how do they improve it? So it just answers all the questions. Any other questions, comments? Yep, Orlee?
I was just going to say how I could see that being so useful for modern language teachers and for the kids to listen to the comments rather than reading them. So super cool. Thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't thought that. It's, you know, when you're learning a language, it's much easier to listen than it is to read, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. Anyone else? No? John, yes?
Brilliant, Guto, thank you. So with the Screencastify, when I've shared it before, like a really common question, which I'm never totally sure of the answer, is what's the biggest difference? You obviously mentioned the watermark, but what's the biggest difference between the free version and the pro version?
So there's three main differences there. Probably the most important one, the reason that we've paid for one for each teacher, is that you're limited to 50 videos a month on the free version. Right. So obviously if you're marking a class of 30, then that's only one piece of work. Yeah. Second, it takes the screen mark away from the watermark away from the screen. And third, you do get an editing function. Not that I use that while doing feedback, but if I was doing a screencast to show them how to do a piece of work at the start of a lesson, you get editing there in the browser in the cloud.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, no, good question, John, because yeah, I'd always seen that you could upgrade. I'm like, why do you need to upgrade? And I didn't even really know why people would need to when it's so amazing being free anyway. But yes, the watermark does get frustrating. But, you know,
and then obviously you're only paying for the teacher because the children don't need Screencastify accounts because they're just watching a video.
Yeah, perfect. And I know some schools are using Screencastify with the students as well to when they're doing tutorials, but it obviously depends on your kids. And I teach younger kids, so we're not really doing that. But I have seen secondary schools, they do have that. So, and a lot of people these days, apps and things that they need, a lot of schools aren't using textbooks. So here in Australia in particular, we'll put an app or something that we need. So it's like an investment on that rather than a textbook that they can use over and over. So there's many ways that schools can justify costs these days, which are quite nice when we need resources in our classrooms. And that's one that I think a lot of teachers will absolutely love. And I think someone has shared it once before, but not the way you've shared it. So if anyone was interested to know how other teachers are using it, you can always go to the TeachTechPlay website and just do a search there and have a look at what other episode has it on that episode. I can't even remember who shared it, but absolutely fantastic. Next up we have Orlee, and you'll be sharing text story with us. So let me know when you're ready and I will start the timer.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so today I want to share with you an app called Texting Story that our students, they absolutely love using. What it is basically you're writing a text conversation between two characters, and Texting Story creates a video out of the conversation. So I wanted you to see what that looks like. I'll play this short movie for you. Right, so you could see how kids would just have a blast with this app. They can add emojis, they can add pictures, and it's just so engaging for them. So when you open up the app, what you see is this blank writing page, and what you have to do is just decide who your characters are by either clicking on the default character or by going to the settings. And then right over here is where you're gonna give your characters a name, and you can even add a little profile picture to your characters. So it's really cute. Some other things you can do in the settings panel are add a background image, like you see over here. If you want to change the background of your text conversation, you can turn off the typing sound. You can add a title to your conversation. You can change the layout, and you can change the typing speed. So once you choose your characters, you're ready to start recording your conversation. Now, one thing to be mindful of is that the app will automatically record the background. It'll automatically record in the background. So when you're typing, as soon as you start typing, it's going to record everything you're saying, which is why you want to plan ahead of time your conversation. If you make a mistake and delete some of the words, the app records that too. But this could actually be really funny if you want to show conflict between what someone's thinking versus what they actually say. But anyway, you don't have to rush, because when you're typing, the app edits the speed of the text. You can pause and think through your typing. So to switch back and forth through the characters, you're just going to click on the character names. When you're done texting, you're going to save it as a video, and then Texting Story gives you lots of options for how to share your movie. You can save it to the camera roll, you can share it to multiple social media platforms, and you can also upload it to YouTube. So in a nutshell, this app, it's available on Android and iOS. It works with any language, so that's super cool for foreign language classes.
1 minute.
It's cross-curricular. You can use it across subject areas. It's easy to use. Like I said, you can save to the camera roll, which is awesome for app smashing, or if you want to upload something to Seesaw, and it's free. So how can we use Texting Story? There's so many ways. Like I said, you can use it for practice in conversing in a foreign language. You could use it to portray characters in a novel, to review vocabulary, to represent historical figures. And we even used it this year to create examples of what good digital citizenship looks like. And that's the end.
Perfect. 15 seconds to spare. That is amazing. And I was going to ask you if there was a cost, and that it's free, I think, is absolutely amazing. I think that sometimes kids need different ways to present information, and that's one that that's the second app now that I'm going to have to email my text to add to our iPads. But it's absolutely amazing, especially as you said, conflicts and different social problems. I know that 5-6ers currently, I think in most schools, have issues with texting and conversations happening in group chats. So this is a really good way that you could demonstrate it to a class and then create discussions around it. So really amazing. Just quickly, because you can share it sort of with other social media platforms, is there an age restriction, or are there any accounts, or is it just simply, or ads on it or anything like that?
There are no ads, but what happens is when you create a movie, there's this, what is it called? The mark.
The watermark, yep.
The watermark, thank you.
Yep.
That's attached to it.
Okay, perfect. Easy.
Yeah.
No, that's good to know. Just always good to ask, especially when you work with littlies.
Oh, for sure. And you could pay and get additional features, but for us, it was perfectly fine using the free version, and we get a lot of use out of it. The kids really like it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Did anyone else have any questions or comments? Yep, Guto?
I was just thinking, you had a conversation there between Neil Armstrong and the Wright brothers. Is it just 2 people, or is there a way to make a group chat as well?
So good question. You can create a third character. I find it really difficult to maneuver because you have to toggle 3 times back. But yes, to answer your question, you can add a third character as well.
Great.
Perfect. Any other questions? No, I think we're all good. Perfect. Thank you for that. That was amazing. Oh,
Sure.
That's the thing I love about TeachTechPlay. Every month I just get free PD. And as you know, Jon has watched every episode probably more than once, and he'll be able to tell you that even rewatching episodes, you just forget about the amount of tools and different ideas and things you can bring to the classroom, and no lesson needs to be boring anymore in the classroom. We can find engaging tools to engage our students for a range of topics and things happening. So really good. Now, we are getting to the exciting part in the show. Now, Ben is here and he is going to be sharing I'm not going to say what he's going to be sharing, but he's going to tell you what he's sharing. And then the great thing is he's actually giving us one to give away on TeachTechPlay. So make sure you continue watching, because I will share a slide with a secret code that you will need to enter to win this I can't say it, this amazing prize. I'm not going to say it yet because I don't want to spoil it, but you can win it, and Ben will send it worldwide. So this is open to anyone viewing, which is absolutely fantastic, and you can only enter once. So make sure you only enter once, but you do go into the chance to win this wonderful I nearly said it then, so I've got to not say it. So before I do it, Ben, I'm going to throw over to you. Tell me when you're ready and I'll start the timer.
Cool, thanks. You picked that up now. I better make this super exciting. Okay, cool. Well, we can get going if you like.
Perfect.
Cool. So I'm not going to share my screen. I might regret that later. I probably should have pre-recorded this. It might be a bit less awkward to share in selfie mode, because I'm actually wearing what I wanted to present. This is the Virtuali-Tee. It's an augmented reality t-shirt that allows you to teach about the human body on a human body, whether that be as a teacher or on the pupils. It's really flexible the way that you can teach with it. And ultimately, the way it works is super simple. You get hold of a t-shirt from us. We also sell them on Amazon. You download our free app. So that's the bit that's important. You buy the t-shirt. It's the price of a regular t-shirt, but the app is free. Once you've downloaded the app onto your iPad or iPhone or Android as well, you can then have an augmented reality experience. So I'll attempt to demo this on the webcam, but if I take it out of selfie mode, if I point this at the shirt, then in theory, there we go. Now you are seeing inside my body, and I can just sort of isolate different systems, and here we are inside the circulatory system now, and we can actually get inside the heart. There's also 360 videos as well, so there is immersive video content in here, and it's kind of hard to see, but essentially you're inside the bloodstream, and as you move around, you'll see blood vessels flying past and stuff. There is an audible guide in here as well. He's a holographic surgical glove called Hans Glover, pun intended, and essentially wherever you go, he can annotate whatever you're seeing. So there's a voice guide that takes you through. As I said, you can isolate all the systems. We've got 5 in total, and we wanted to connect it to your body, so we actually integrated a heart rate monitor. And the way that this works is that you place your finger over the end of the camera lens, and we use actually the light passing through your finger to measure your pulse. So there's kind of a nice little science lesson in the way that works alone. And then once you've captured your heart rate sample, you can then visualize it on the body and see the actual heart beating at the rate it's actually being in your chest. So ultra context. The whole reason for this really is to try and make the best possible resources for teachers to really take an abstract subject. I mean, maths is very abstract, but surprisingly the human body as well. It's all hidden beneath our skin, and it can be quite gory. And so, often we use diagrams. Well, this is kind of a mix of both. We've got all the clarity that you get from a diagram, with all the kind of realism that you get from seeing a real body. So it's nice and gory, and the kids love it. But it's really easy for them to connect with, engage with, interact with, and ultimately breaks the ice in the best possible way on biology, and hopefully sets them off on a really wonderful journey through the body, and a love for quite a difficult subject for many children. It actually ends up across subjects as well. Interestingly, we've had teachers coming back saying that they use it in their English comprehension lessons as well, because you can essentially listen to a piece of Hans Glover and then write down afterwards what you think he's been saying. So I think that kind of covers it.
Fantastic. Now, the exciting bit, which I know all our viewers will be asking, is how do we enter to win this? And the thing is, we have teamed up. So what you need to do is we'll be sharing out via our Twitter and our Instagram and Facebook pages a link to a special form that you need to fill in. There are a couple questions there because I had a chat with Ben a few weeks ago, and this isn't the end. You're not a one product wonder. I'm going to put you down as Ben. Your aim is to provide more resources for teachers. So you're after a bit of feedback from teachers as well on what we need so you can design the next best thing. And I know I gave you some ideas because we've been using the Tees before I even knew you. We got them for Science Week, and here's one that I have. And we actually put it on our human skeleton at our school, and the girls absolutely loved it. And they said it would be awesome if we could get a hat like this, so then they could look inside the brain. And you said the things you've got planned go well beyond that. So you're after a bit of feedback, and we are happy to provide you with a great audience of teachers. I think that TeachTechPlay, we are a group of educators here who are brought together with a passion of improving student learning. And so when companies like you reach out to us, we are more than happy to showcase great tools for the classroom that we see are purposeful and useful. And we have ideas, but we can't always do what we want or create what we want, unlike Rosanne, who has gone and created something herself, amazing. But, when developers like yourself do reach out to us, we do want to be heard. So I think this is a great opportunity. And without further ado, if you do want to enter, you will need this secret code. So the secret code is not very secret. The code you need is TTPlay. So very simple, but it ensures that you have watched this episode and have seen it and are interested in helping out Ben and the team. And as I am on this, I'm also going to say make sure you do vote for your favorite presenter, because there is always the king or queen of the episode. And I know a lot of people do love that. So once again, here is the secret code that you will need, and you'll enter this in the form. There will just be a section there that it might ask secret code from the episode to enter in, and it's just TTPlay. And yeah, Ben, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I just want to back up what you were saying there. We earlier on this year reached out to the community, and that's actually how I'd met Rosanne as well. It was just a case of an amazing response. We put a shout out to say, look, Curoscope wants to talk to teachers. We want to learn about the challenges that you face. And it was just a tidal wave response. And that's, as a company producing anything, being able to talk to your customers in a way like that is super powerful. And we definitely don't want to waste that opportunity. And it's not just going to be something that we do at the beginning and never again. It's going to be a habit. We're going to continue doing it. So we'll have a very, very good, open, regular dialogue with the community.
Perfect. Thank you. And we'll share that out via our social media. So make sure you do follow along and fill in that form for your chance to win your very own t-shirt. And I know that a number of our presenters here today have also used the t-shirt. So did anyone have any questions or any comments about it? No? No? Yep, Rosanne?
Yeah, congratulations on such an engaging product, Ben. We actually use it at the university as well to show our training teachers. What I really like about it is you can place all of the organs in the correct place at the right proportion as well, and students have a better idea of where their organs are placed on their body. I noticed that you actually have a lot of teaching resources on your website as well. So they're actually, I've looked through them, they're the math science-based resources, and they're really good for implementing it in the classroom.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Rosanne. It's always good. And I know you've created a great resource and resources for teachers. And that's what a lot of teachers need as well. And I think for some teachers, you know, these technologies are great, but they are a bit unsure of how to integrate them. So when you do provide those resources for them with lesson ideas and everything, it helps engage them and make them want to implement it themselves. Was there any other questions or comments? No, I think we're all good. Perfect.
I just want to break into Rosanne's modesty there for actually helping me create some of the resources there for the functionality. Yeah.
Perfect. Well done, Rosanne, because I know that will be amazing, because it's always good to connect with actual teachers. I know a couple of companies have reached out to me to create resources for them as well. And I think it's really key when companies like yours, Ben, do reach out to actual teachers, because we know the curriculum, we know how to teach and what needs to be created. So huge thank you. That actually brings us to the end of the show. Make sure you fill in the form that we share out for your chance to win. And I know one of our lucky viewers will be receiving a t-shirt. It is very exciting. I don't think we've ever done a giveaway like this on TeachTechPlay, and I am super excited. If I didn't already have one, I would want to enter it myself, but I've got one, so I'll let someone else have a chance of winning. But please do fill in and help Ben and the team out. That would be fantastic. And I hope you can all join us for our next episode in December. We will be bringing to you another 5 fantastic presentations of different ways you can implement a range of tools and resources in the classroom. And remember, if you have any questions or would like to be showcased on TeachTechPlay, please reach out to me. We're always interested in hearing from other teachers or others about different tools and resources or ideas we can implement in the classroom. So huge thank you from me, and thanks to everyone who shared today. See you later, guys. Bye.